So welcome back to Post-Age Economics, the series on this channel where I focus on the future of AI and how the economy and the job market will respond to artificial general intelligence, as it is going to be a huge societal change. Now, there was something recently that occurred on a podcast that I think most people did miss, but they do need to pay attention to. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Eric Weinstein's comments on Sam Altman. Now, Eric Weinstein is an American mathematician, an economist, and a public intellectual known for his work in various fields, including finance, physics, and public discourse. Now, he holds a PhD in mathematical physics from Harvard University, and Weinstein has been involved in finance as a marketing manager at Thiel Capital, a venture firm founded by Peter Thiel from 2013 to 2022. And he has also worked as an economist and consultant at the Natron Group, a hedge fund in New York City. And in economics, he has introduced innovative concepts such as the gauge theoretic methods into neoclassical theory and has been an advocate for foundational thinking in economics. So with all that being said, this makes Eric Weinstein an influential figure in online discourse when it comes to discussing certain topics. And hearing him speak on a subject matter that concerns all of us is rather fascinating. So I'm going to play you guys this short clip, and I think it's going to demonstrate the importance of the future and how forward-thinking many of the AI industry CEOs really are.
Sam really gets it. He's taken a lot of shit. You know, there was a very bad blood between him and Elon, obviously.
Yeah.
But I know Sam, and he's like Edward Teller. He's struggling with the real thing. We demonized Edward Teller. We're going to demonize Sam Altman. But Sam is looking directly at this thing, and we're not listening to him. Sam was talking about UBI years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to do experiments because I have to take care of people because I know what's coming.
Right.
Does that guy get any credit for that?
I didn't even know that that was one of his things.
Holy cow. My wife's an economist. We were talking to Sam, and Sam's just like, look, this is going to break capitalism.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah.
And he
is.
cared. And he was like, he's planning ahead.
Right.
And now he's just taking shit like, all he is I don't even think Sam is that motivated by money.
I didn't even know people accused him of being
Oh, absolutely.
motivated by money.
I don't know that he's being honest. I think he's being meta honest, and he's not necessarily being honest.
Right. Right.
I think he understands what's at stake.
The problem is I wish I knew everything he thought, because I feel like there's a lot of things that are happening over there that they aren't announcing right away.
Would you want him to announce it all?
No. And I really have a lot of respect for.
Quite honestly, Sam, this stuff should be on a military base.
Yeah. I think he recognizes that.
I think that the idea of doing this as a business is insane.
So that was the full clip, and I know it was a little bit long. I did want to interject some points here, but I think this clip was one of the recent clips that I saw that really drove home that, what my community is focusing on, what some people in the AI industry are focusing on, such as, post-AGI economics, how, the world is going to be, how you're going to maneuver, your role in that world. I think that this, video kind of tells us exactly what we need to know. He talks about how Sam Altman was, doing this stuff for quite some time before the AI hype really mattered. He's been talking about how this, and one of the most crazy statements that he said was that, this is going to break capitalism. Like, that is a incredible statement, okay? Saying that this is going to break capitalism is a statement that I don't think people truly understand, yet even if they do understand it, they don't grasp the magnitude of socio-economic change that is going to come because of that. Because capitalism literally underpins nearly everything in our society, and it, kind of makes the world go round. So this is quite important to actually talk about, because like capitalism breaking has, many consequences that are going to have many different knock-on effects for the world. And, Sam Altman has, of course, been talking about UBI for quite some time. And the main thing that he says here, which is rather important, and this is why I have this series on my channel, is that he says that, we're not listening to him, okay? Like, people all the time are talking about AI tools, they're talking about AI hype. And whilst, yes, you can get carried away in all of those different things, I don't think people are listening to what is truly being said around where the trajectory of our current society is headed and the ramifications for that, not only as an individual, but for a society. And I think that, this clip is one of the key things that kind of reminds me that I'm on the right path in focusing on the future. Now, what he also says here is that Sam isn't motivated by money, although some people may or may not disagree, saying that Sam Altman is driven by power or he's driven by this or that. I do think that Sam Altman is most certainly forward thinking a lot more than other people. And now, later on in the talk here, he does actually state something that is, I'm not sure if it's worrying, but it's the reason why I founded my community, because number one, like I said before, people aren't paying attention, and people like he said, because I know what's coming, because I have to take care of people. And do I even get any credit for that? Because he knows what the future holds. I've made videos on that stuff before. And, I've spoken about how most people have no idea what these individuals are predicting for the economy. And I've actually spoken about how you should be doing something to prepare. But what he also talks about later on in this clip, which is, really important, is that he also says that, I don't think he's being honest. And I think the reason that this is so important is because this is essentially stating that the people behind some of the most powerful pieces of technology aren't being important and forthcoming about the technologies that are coming in the future. And what he essentially means by this, that, he's not being honest, is he's not saying that, Sam Altman is, a charlatan or, extremely deceptive. He's basically saying that, look, the technology that is coming is so transformative that, and this isn't like me buying into the AI hype, I'm talking about, 20 years, 30 years from now, if we just look at what technology has been doing in the past, we've seen how society has been transformed. It's that I don't think that even some of these CEOs can really be honest, because if they are, it's probably going to, so essentially, like, if this technology is that much transformative, people are going to have a hard time grasping what's coming. And I think that that's the main thing here, because one of the things, and I don't have this actual reference, and I've actually recently created a database to actually track all of the crazy things that, people have been saying about the post AGI, is that you can see that from this article. Okay. So, in the Sora release, if you remember the Sora release, basically what happened here, and I know most people won't pay attention to this, but basically what happened here is that Sora was released, and what happened with Sora is that it it did shock the society. Like, it did shock the global consciousness around AI development. And the craziest thing about this was this tweet right here. If there is one thing you take away from this video, it's this right here. And I spoke about this. Most people are like, why are you even talking about that? It's not AI news. This is big AI news. And most people gloss over the real things. But this is someone that works at OpenAI, okay? And this is an OpenAI technical staff member, okay? Said that the company is very intentionally, okay, pay attention, very intentionally not widely sharing it yet. And the hope is that this mini public demo kicks a social response into gear. This is basically stating that, look, we're not releasing this yet because we want you guys to adjust your timelines on what you think AI is going to be doing. And this is essentially stating that, look, if this is what AI is capable of, what else is AI going to be capable of in the future? And like I said before, in the GPT-3 days, Sam Altman on his own blog, and I've referenced this already, you can see right here that Sam Altman is literally talking about how, my work at OpenAI reminds me every day about the magnitude, okay, of socio-economic change that is coming sooner than most people believe. And this is something that is like burned into my retinas, because I pay attention to this statement all the time. Because if someone like Sam Altman is saying this, if numerous people are also saying these kind of statements, it kind of leads me to believe that, okay, as someone who is an entrepreneur, someone who's focused on adaptability, on change and growing as a person, I need to at least pay attention to one of the most transformative industries of our time. Because if these people, okay, worth millions and billions of dollars are doing so, then as an individual, I also need to do that as well. Now, with all this information, you've got to pay attention to exactly what's going on here. And like I said before, a lot of these people are not paying attention. So when you have someone as educated as Eric Weinstein actually talking about these issues, I think it's clear that, yes, there are going to be some huge changes going on. And even says that, this technology is so powerful that some of it should be like on a military base. And that's exactly what Sam Altman understands. Now, if you aren't familiar with what OpenAI are doing, because some people are like, this is just AI hype. Some people are like over exaggerating what's going on. One of the things that OpenAI has previously spoken about was their iterative deployment strategy. So this is Sam Altman responding to someone basically talking about that. And this is basically where they're saying that, look, we're not going to deploy these technologies the moment that we get them, because if we do, people aren't going to prepare themselves for the kind of change that's coming.
As you guys continually inch closer to that, how do you plan to deploy that responsibly at OpenAI? To prevent, stifling human innovation and continue to spur that?
So I'm actually not worried at all about stifling of human innovation. I really deeply believe that people will just surprise us on the upside with better tools. I think all of history suggests that if you give people more leverage, they do more amazing things. And that's kind of like, we all get to benefit from that. That's just kind of great. I am, though, increasingly worried about how we're going to do this all responsibly. I think as the models get more capable, we have a higher and higher bar. We do a lot of things like red teaming and external audits, and I think those are all really good. But I think as the models get more capable, we'll have to deploy even more iteratively, have an even tighter feedback loop on looking at how they're used and where they work and where they don't work. And this world that we used to do, where we can release a major model update every couple of years, we probably have to find ways to like increase the granularity on that and deploy more iteratively than we have in the past. And it's not super obvious to us yet how to do that, but I think that'll be key to responsible deployment. And also the way we kind of have all of the stakeholders negotiate what the rules of AI need to be, that's going to get more complex over time too.
So basically, and your screen isn't black right now, your phone isn't off, it's a blackboard. What we would have before is we would have, let's say, for example, GPT-2. Okay, then of course we would have GPT-3, and of course you would have GPT-4. Okay, GPT-4, and then of course, okay, what we have here, okay, is we have the models. Then of course what we have is the humans. Okay, so what we have is OpenAI. Okay, let's just put like OpenAI here, and then of course you have the models that they're working on. Okay, and of course we've got GPT-5. I know this is like terrible drawings, but just hear me out for a second. Okay, so what we have, okay, here is we then have the public. Okay, so we have, okay, OpenAI working on GPT-2. Previously they'd work on GPT-2, boom, it gets to the public. GPT-3, boom, gets to the public. GPT-4, they pretty much deployed that as soon as they got. Now with GPT-5 and other future systems, what's going to happen is that we're more going to get something like this, okay, where it's going to be like, okay, GPT-2, but then we're going to get several iterations, and then it's released like way into the future. Okay, so like, it's not like we're going to get these models that are going to be at the same time. It's like with GPT-6, rather than, it's going to be a situation where these systems are deployed iteratively, meaning we might get GPT 6.1, we might get, just a part of that. And I think we've seen that recently with GPT 4.0, okay? So for example, if I can just like, just get rid of all of this. For example, what we've seen, and I don't think most people even realize this, which is why they think, AI stuff is slowing down. And I don't think it is slowing down, but if we saw GPT 4.0, and I think this is why, you need to realize that the pace of AI development is largely further than you think it is. And this isn't just like an AI hype thing. This is just, fundamentally going off how OpenAI is operating as a company. Here's what we've seen, okay? We saw GPT 4.0, okay? But GPT 4.0 has tons of capabilities. It's got 3D models, it's got audio. This is like an omni model. It can literally do everything, okay? Like there is stuff that this model isn't doing, okay? But what did we get, okay? Of GPT 4.0, we got the LLM, okay? So for the GPT 4.0, we got literally, the only thing that we got was the LLM, okay? Now, a couple months from now, we're probably going to get the voice mode, okay? So a couple months from now, we're probably going to get the voice mode, okay? So I'm trying to do voice. I am terrible at typing with a mouse. I probably need a better mouse. But then maybe, by the end of the year, maybe we'll get like all features. And then you have to understand that this is going to continue. This trend is going to continue with GPT-5 because it's a really capable model. Like by the time the public has access to it, you got to understand that like they're still, okay, like gonna be at GPT-5 or GPT-6 internally before they are at these models externally. So the point here, guys, is that if that is true, if these models are being, internally used a lot more than they are being externally released, and the public is, let's say for example, the public's 12 months behind, then that means that, so if we can understand that, okay, Eric Weinstein is basically saying that, look, Sam Altman, these people, they're not being honest. And like this interview says right here, I'm just going to play this one more time.
Knew everything he thought because I feel like there's a lot of things that are happening over there that they aren't announcing right away. That they like,
Would you want him to announce it all?
No, and and actually.
And that's the real thing, okay? I think that even if they did, get to like an AGI or ASI, I really don't think that they should announce it because I don't know, you might be thinking, what? Why would you think that they should announce it, guys? You have to think about the societal implications of how people are going to fundamentally live their lives. Like there are a lot of things that people believe. There are a lot of, ways of life. Like even if they do have ASI, it's going to be a long time before they roll out the, effects of that, because what you do have is society that could potentially break down. I've already discussed papers talking about societal collapse and responsible deployment when we do get to AGI/ASI level systems, because, you've already seen how people reacted to Sora. You've already seen how people have reacted to, fundamentally advanced AI systems. And whilst, yes, it could have just been a few creatives, angry at that kind of stuff, you have to think about it. What happens if we get to ASI, where there is truly a system that is, better than humans at pretty much everything? I mean, these are some things that, yes, they're quite far in the future, but we have to really at least wrap our heads around what the future looks like. Now, OpenAI have said that, they're going to try and even, release these models even more iteratively, because currently they believe that, even with their current releases, there's still large jumps that they really just don't want.
Going up an exponential slope. From an outsider's perspective, for me just watching it, it does feel like there's leaps. There isn't.
I do wonder if we should have, part of the reason that we deploy the way we do is that we think, we call it iterative deployment. We, rather than go build in secret until we got all the way to GPT-5, we decided to talk about GPT-1, 2, 3, and 4. And part of the reason there is I think AI and surprise don't go together. And also the world, people, institutions, whatever you want to call it, need time to adapt and think about these things. And I think one of the best things that OpenAI has done is this strategy. And we get the world to pay attention to the progress, to take AGI seriously, to think about systems and structures and governance we want in place before we're like under the gun and have to make a rush decision. I think that's really good. But the fact that people like you and others say you still feel like there are these leaps makes me think that maybe we should be doing our releasing even more iteratively. I don't know what that would mean. I don't have an answer ready to go. Our goal is not to have shock updates to the world. The opposite.
Yeah, for sure. More iterative would be amazing. I think that's just beautiful for everybody.
But that's what we're trying to do. That's like our stated strategy. And I think we're somehow missing the mark. So maybe we should think about, releasing GPT-5 in a different way or something like that.
So that is why I've said that, when we take a look at what OpenAI is doing here, most people are like, these companies are slowing down, yada, yada, yada. It's that as you approach more capable systems, unless the competition severely jumps you, you're not really going to deploy your most capable model just yet, because there is no need to. And OpenAI have faced numerous backlash. The point is, from this video, what I want to make you all understand is that, this stuff, okay, is quite serious, okay? People are now starting to pay attention, and I still don't think enough people aren't paying attention to the future. And now to conclude this video, I want you all to just, at least pay attention to the future, because whilst, yes, there is a lot of AI stuff being developed, whilst, yes, we have economists and really intelligent people talking about the future, there are a lot of opportunities that are coming in the AI space. Like seriously, a lot of opportunities that are going to be in the AI space. And one of the things that I've been doing myself, along with my school community, in order to help people prepare, is that I've been tracking these new opportunities so that people can be the first to take advantage of them. You have to understand that, once again, I'm going to go back to my whiteboard here quickly, is that AI tools are quite like this, in the sense that, you have this innovation/adoption cycle. And in fact, I'm going to show you guys an actual image that is much better than this, poorly drawn graph. So this is basically the image that you want to pay attention to. You can see right here that we have the innovators, we have the early adopters, we have the early majority, and we have the late majority, and we have the laggards. Now, if you are someone, okay, that is in the late majority or in the laggards, okay, if you're here, okay, you don't want to be here, because what that means is A, you're behind the ball, and B, you're going to be behind the ball on your industry, which means you're probably going to be losing clients. You're probably going to be, getting fired from your job because you weren't paying attention to the updates, or you're just going to be in a very bad position. Now, if you're someone who's actually paying attention to the updates, you're watching channels like mine, or you're watching any other channel, it doesn't just have to be mine, just subscribe to an email list, you're just fundamentally paying attention. And by paying attention, what I mean by that is, like, in your industry, you know exactly who the innovators are in terms of AI. You know exactly what tools are going to be used. You know exactly what workflows there are. You know that if this happens, that's going to happen. And if you're here, you are going to benefit the most from this transformative period, because there are, millions and millions of dollars flowing in. And whilst, yes, like I said before, there are going to be millions of different things happening on the economy, people who can actually adopt this actually, benefit the most. They're going to get the best jobs. They're going to get the best opportunities. They're going to be people who are managing people, and they're going to be people who are managing the AI software. Now, for those of you who don't believe me and you just think this is hogwash, 2 weeks ago, I created something to track every single AI opportunity that exists, such as businesses and different career opportunities that actually benefit from knowing AI tools. And one of the things you can see right here is an opportunity called AI video producer. Now, on my Airtable that tracks all of these things, you can see right here that I've uploaded this document, because basically what I do is if I see something, I just instantly screenshot it. I put it as a PDF so you can see exactly everything that you need to do. But you can see right here that there is literally companies, okay? Because I didn't want to make this video all doom and gloom, but you can see that there is, companies that are literally hiring people that actually use AI tools. You can literally see here, okay, that this role, the most important point that you want to know, is between $60,000, okay, $60,000 to $500,000 a year. Now that's crazy, guys, but look at this, okay? The role of this, okay, is that it says use AI tools such as Runway to create and generate video content for our short vertical romance series. Guys, you are literally getting paid $500,000 to use tools such as Runway, okay? Now, if you remember, I did a tutorial on Runway. I think it was last month I did a tutorial. How many people watched this tutorial, guys? It only got around, 5,000 views or something. Not that many people even watched it. You can see here, guys, this is the tutorial. It has around 18,000 views. I said how to use Runway Gen 3 Alpha. This is something that doesn't have a lot of views. But the point here is that, okay, yeah, you got to think about it. Some people just watch this because they enjoyed it. Some people watch this because they want to use it. But guys, there are opportunities out there that are flooding the market right now. And these opportunities are happening every single week. The point is that if you're someone that wants to be, doom and gloom, you can be doom and gloom. Of course, yes, industries are going to disappear. Certain things are going to happen. But as long as you're paying attention, you can still manage to do well in those industries. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how this entire situation evolves. And of course, you can see right here, one of the things that it does say is that it says stay up to date with the latest trends and advancements in video editing software and AI technologies. And this is from Inklet, an AI video producer. This is, in San Francisco. And it says they're building the Disney of the 21st century. There's going to be so many different companies that are going to be out there that are literally just going to be throwing money, because you have to understand that most people aren't paying attention. So hopefully this video helped you understand that yes, transformative change is coming. But I just made this video to understand that, look, even if you don't join my AI community, even if you don't join this community, at least make sure that you're paying attention to opportunities going on within your industry, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on a huge, huge transformative shift to where you could very much so be someone that benefits the most. Now, if you enjoyed the video, I'll see you in the next one.